guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E,
I'm Dee.
and today we're going over the Real Housewives of Potomac.
So Mia has been a bit of a controversial figure since her arrival on the show. Still, her upside has always been high. She is a bit delusional, engages in absurdities, thinks quickly on her feet, and isn't one to linger on conflict after addressing it. There have definitely been blights. Her beef with Wendy was shameful, and her fallout with Jacqueline was both uncomfortable and incoherent. But this episode showcases her potential as a North Star for the franchise moving forward. She has been nurturing a budding relationship, see alliance, with Robin this season, but that doesn't preclude her from getting her jabs in on Juan and her now estranged husband during a couples cooking class. Okay, so let's give a quick little rundown of what it is Mia did. So Mia executed her task with precision, not shown on either of the couple's kitchen counters. She begins by casually reminding us of their financial struggles, mentioning that they don't have a nanny who helps with cooking anymore, before saying into her prolonged frustration with how Gordon handles their ongoing issues. Poor Gordon seems not to see the blow coming as Mia intentionally lays the breadcrumbs and intentional public distance in her transition to her next relationship. And it's fascinating to watch this happen in real time. In between pasta dough needs, Mia then casually asks Juan with the casualness of someone asking about the day's commute, "You really put your credit card down? You couldn't do that over the phone?" Juan responds with the mushmouth version of the same incoherent and unbelievable hotel story he's told 8 different times, which, as Mia pointed out, sounds rehearsed at this point. But Mia disarmed him, and he took it in stride and spoke his own words on camera instead of forcing Robin to address the situation on her own. Perhaps he was too busy thinking about all the other job hunt calls he could have been talking while still mic'd. Robin and Juan were trying to ensure we knew he was actively seeking employment. Maybe he can run Robin's new Glow 30 franchise while he's waiting for those calls to get turned or to get returned. Men get facials too. So before we go a little bit more into Mia, what did we think about that little couples activity?
Well, when Juan and Robin were walking in and he got a phone call, I really thought he said, "Hey, babe," or "Hey, babe." I'm like,
Really?
yeah, I like kept replaying it. I'm like, what are you saying? And then he kept talking about the assistant coach and stuff, and I'm like, he's not that dumb. He's not that dumb. I'm like, so if you guys know what he said, leave it in the comments because I could have sworn I heard, "Hey, babe."
Wow, I
Go
didn't
back and listen to it.
know. Yeah, I'm gonna have to because I didn't notice. Okay.
Yeah, I was just shocked. So when Mia's, she's a fan favorite, and by fan favorite, I mean one of my favorites, especially
Hey.
towards the end. I'm like, yeah, she's messy, but you kind of see all aspects of Mia. She's,
Yeah,
you see all her life. She don't care. We know she got surgery. You know where.
everywhere.
People everywhere. Like I didn't need to know that 3.5 seconds of you coming into the show.
Right,
Like
right.
she just displays her whole life, which
Yeah.
is, I guess, the purpose of the show. You know,
Right.
and I was thinking, I know I'm going a little off track, but I was thinking today, Gizelle doesn't do any of those things. And she's been pretty quiet this whole season. Like
Strategy.
Ashley is the one that like kinda stirs the pot a little bit, but this season has been really like carrying on its own with like the Robin drama and then the NECA Wendy thing. Like Giselle's just there, which she's usually the one that's stirring up something. So
Right.
I think Mia should be in reasonably shady because she is the queen of shady. Now going back to this episode, she's like, well, they rehearsed this. I'm like, she is a good friend and a terrible friend at the same time.
She pulls it off. She
She,
really
she
pulls
pulled
it
it off well, and people
off.
accept her for who she is. And
Yeah.
this is Mia, and if you don't understand her, I don't know how, but you can see her through and through.
So we, I don't know if it was in the last episode or one of the prior recaps we did, we said she is the real MVP. Like Mia has, like you said, she's been herself, she's been consistent. She doesn't care that you know any of her business. She will put it out there. And I love that about her. Yes, of course she's messy and, sometimes I'm like, oh, girl, filter, just a tad bit of a filter. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, you know what? No, because that wouldn't be her. So I appreciate her candor. I appreciate her willingness to, like, at the very least, like, share information, because obviously the other ones haven't. I'll get to my gripe with Giselle here in a second, but like the way in which Mia interacted with Juan, I thought was hilarious,
Me
because
too.
it was like it wasn't even coming from a place of like where she looked angry. She genuinely looked messy. Like she
Yeah.
genuinely did. Like she
She was almost dumbfounded a little bit. Like, you were really that dumb to do that? Like,
and
and
that's the
he
thing.
was stuttering. He
Oh
was
yeah,
stuttering.
he was.
So I was
Yeah.
like, you didn't rehearse this good enough, because now you're trying to remember the story and how you
Yeah,
said it. He got caught.
for sure. But I just
Yeah.
thought it was so funny the way she interacted with him. The whole time Robin's just like crickets. And so about her and Gordon's situation. Like, yeah, you can kind of see where this is going and everything. And I kind of feel bad for Gordon, but I also don't think that he is really seeing her perspective of things. Like, I don't think he is like fully understanding where she's coming from, or like why she feels the way she feels. So maybe, obviously they haven't shown any other sessions, but I know they were doing like couples therapy or whatever. Like maybe they needed some more of that, because it doesn't seem like he fully grasps what, the whole situation is. Now there was one thing that Robin said that I thought was interesting. When they, I think Gordon asked, "How did the trip go?" or whatever, and then Wendy, I don't know, not Wendy, Mia said something about if she talked to Juan, or whatever, and that she said Juan doesn't want to hear
The girl
all the
drama.
info. Yeah, and I was like, he didn't even try to like deny it. He didn't even try to like, no, he was just like,
Mhm.
whatever. And it's like, dude, come on. You can't even listen to your wife. Like, technically, these are her work problems.
This is
Like,
true. Yeah,
yeah, like why wouldn't you be willing to listen to her work problems? But anyway, I thought that whole scene was like, it was hilarious. I was just like, wow, what are we doing here? But anyway, Mia made the whole show. Later, we see more of Mia's softer side in a very emotional and revealing scene. It's no secret that Mia has had a rough upbringing, but as I mentioned earlier, one of her shortcomings is that the show struggles to show the quirks of her personality, good or bad. For example, the fallout with her best friend Jacqueline escalated very quickly, and most of what was captured clearly amounted to lingering and deep best friend issues that we have no real insight into, that are being filtered through minor squabbles. Through the luncheon Karen pulls together for PAVE, the nonprofit for sexual violence that the Grand Dame supports, we find out that not only has Mia survived sexual violence, but that she was originally with Jacqueline the night it happened and was subconsciously punished. She has subconsciously punished Jacqueline for leaving Mia behind. As she admitted, that doesn't make it right, but it's an honest revelation of her coping mechanisms over the year.
Well, I didn't think it was going to get that deep.
Yeah,
Honestly, from the clips, I thought that Mia was gonna do, some kind of scene or something, or more
yeah,
of the ladies were gonna follow her to the bathroom. But her just giving us all this information that she's been a victim, or not. I don't want to say victim, but that she's experienced, what she did, and
yeah,
telling Ashley. I thought it was admirable that, one, she mentioned it
yeah,
and let us know, how this relates to her and it still hurts her and how
yeah.
she's coping. Two, I was shocked when she said Jacqueline was with me, and,
Oh my
this
God.
is why I treat her this way. And,
Whew.
she knows it's not right. I'm like, wow. Like, we were here judging her.
Yeah,
I think all the viewers, I could say myself included, I'm like, damn, she's a shitty friend. But when
yeah,
you look at her history, and it's
hmm,
like, okay, they were young.
yeah,
Obviously, it wasn't Jacqueline's fault, but like, the chain of events, it's like, man, she was there. She left me alone. Mia has dealt with abandonment and, her history,
yeah,
her childhood history. So you can see how all these things still really affect her,
yeah,
So I love her openness
yeah.
in this aspect. And
So seeing Mia get up, like did not expect, obviously all the information she provided, but she is, like we just discussed before, she's very open, she's very honest about her situations and everything. And so the article mentioned how something about Gizelle briefly or whatever. And you also talked about how Gizelle hasn't really done anything this season and all that. Giselle hasn't done anything for several seasons. Let's be honest here. Aside from the whole problem with Candace and Chris last season, she did nothing. There was nothing that really happened, She had a medical emergency, towards the end of last season or the season before, that she didn't even talk about. I think it was literally handled within one or two scenes in the last episode. And then, she mentions, or they brought it up to her during the reunion, and that was it. And then we
Yeah.
know nothing else about it. And I think she may have mentioned in the reunion, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe at the beginning of the season, how her girls were very concerned. They were worried for her. Gizelle has this image problem. It's literally a catch-22, right? She's pretty, so they are constantly pushing her to the forefront. She's, half of the Green-Eyed Bandits. She's all these different things that they're trying. She's an OG. They're trying to make her be like, literally like the face, right? But then on the other side is the other image, which is that like she's messy, but she's not substantive. Like there's no kind of substance to her or to what she's really bringing to the show. Like
Mhm.
she's had these conversations with Grace. I feel like that could have been a little bit deeper. Instead, she has her boy toy on the phone or whatever. And you can clearly see that her daughter just kind of like seemed annoyed by it. It's like you're having a conversation with her. Continue your conversation with your daughter. Why are you bothering to call this person or whatever the case? And it's like there's not much else that can really like be discussed when it comes to Gizelle, like aside from her daughters, and that's like a quick thing. Or like at the end of the episode, I believe she discussed like with one of the women from Pave what she could tell like Grace, and as far as like advice for her being out in college and to be safe, all that. There's so much that she could dive into with all of that, and she doesn't. And it's like we get nothing. I know that like one of the seasons she spent like getting her house done, right? And they were constantly making fun of that. But like since that season, I can't tell you what else Gizelle has done.
Mhm.
There's not much that's really shown of her. She's been a background character. She's become the Robin of the show. And now Robin is at the forefront. Because we used to complain Robin didn't have plot lines. Robin wasn't doing anything. Robin was just there to look pretty. Like, now Giselle's doing that, and Robin is the one with all the drama and everything. And Gizelle randomly will go ahead and like stick up for Robin. Last episode, I didn't see her really stick up for Robin. She went to check on her after a little bit. Oh, I just wanted to give you a minute. And that was it. She didn't like start cursing people out or start defending her best friend to everybody else. Like she stayed quiet. And then she checked on Robin. And I was
Mhm.
like, that's not the Gizelle that I know. That's not the Gizelle that we've all like come to know. It's like she's quick to talk crap. She's quick to like, have some kind of comeback or be very blunt and vocal about some things. Like, when she decided to like mess with Karen about Uncle Ben, her comment, Uncle Ben, and all that other stuff, like all these different things she's done. And then now all of a sudden it's like she's not there. Like, I don't know. And it just
Because
like annoys me.
that would be she would have to fight with Candace. And you remember, she's just giving her the cold shoulder. So she's not trying to engage with her at all.
Yeah. But
Um,
then
yeah.
what
Go
else
ahead.
do you have going on then?
I saw on Instagram there was like I don't remember the user, but she was talking about Giselle and how much she hasn't contributed to the show. And one of the reasons this girl mentioned it was, every time Giselle brings in something that's kind of near and dear to her, and this girl mentioned that she really likes Sherman. When she brought Jamal back, she's been embarrassed. So it
Yeah.
goes back to your image thing that Giselle doesn't like to be embarrassed. She wants everybody to see her, in this certain light kind of thing. So she's not going to bring anything serious to the show because she
So
doesn't want
then
to be embarrassed. So, Jason, he's just a little boy toy. Ain't nothing serious going on, which we see on the show now that she
Yeah.
says, basically he's just like my, my little buddy over there.
Right.
So that already has been downplayed because in the
Right.
beginning of the season, it's like, oh, we're kind of together. Now it's just like a casual thing.
Yeah.
And we're never going to see anything of substance from her, which is
That's
sad.
me. Yeah. Then she shouldn't be on the show anymore. And I hate to say that because Gizelle used to be one of my faves. But at this point,
She's not even shady anymore because she's beefing with the other girls. So, and she doesn't want to talk to them. So she can't be shady. So then
right.
again, Mia should be the star of the show, in
I
my
agree.
opinion,
Yeah.
just because she's the one that's most forthcoming, because even Karen shuts down after a while.
Yeah.
I think Karen is too prim and proper sometimes for
Yeah.
my liking, and
Yeah.
for the show. We need some messiness, and Karen wants to be everybody's friend.
Yeah.
Ashley, her drama with Michael is boring.
Yeah.
Other than that, she really doesn't have anything. Robin, this is still centered about regarding Juan. This is a
Fun.
Juan thing. So
Yeah.
this is still very much Robin.
Mhm.
Me and Juan got a divorce. Me and Juan were sleeping in the same bed. Me and Juan are thinking of getting married. Me and Juan got engaged. Me and Juan got married and nobody's
Mhm.
there. Me and Juan cheated on me twice. This is still about Juan. About
Yeah.
Robin. And we thought it was going to go somewhere when she was, discussing the depression during the
Oh
pandemic
yeah.
and all that, but that's as much substance as we saw from her. Candace
Yeah.
is too erratic. Like we root for Candace, but then she shows her immaturity, so she can't handle being on the spotlight.
Right.
People aren't going to her shows enough. That's me being shady. Who else is there? NECA.
NECA.
She needs to go out because she's boring. And who else is left?
Wendy.
Wendy had something, but I don't like this new version of Wendy. I still
Yeah.
go back to it. I miss the old Wendy pre-surgery. I'm gonna say that pre-surgery, who
Mhm.
was 10 degrees in and nuck if you buck that way. Now it's more image, and I'm trying to be a businesswoman, but she doesn't stick with any businesses. She doesn't know what she wants to do. And I don't think that's her true character. Like we don't
Right.
see any of those like when she's being a correspondent or a professor, or we don't see any of that. We see
Yeah.
this other side of Wendy, which I don't really like.
Yeah.
So
That's.
Mia should be the star of the show.
I agree. Let's petition. I'm down. Like at this point, I'm tired. I'm tired. I
All
can't.
right. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments about this episode. What did we think about the PAVE Foundation moment
Yeah.
with Mia and all the ladies? I know it's kind of deep, but hey, we can have deep conversations in the comments as well.
Yeah.
What do we think about Gizelle? Should we just kick her out of the show because she's not being shady? She's not giving us info. She's not ni picha ni cacha, like how we say it in Spanish. She's not doing
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
worthwhile. Are we
Right.
tired of talking about Robin and Juan?
Yeah.
Like, let us know what you think in the comments. But that concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends and we could all be friends. We also have social media, which Dee will tell you about.
We are on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. We enjoy our interactions with you guys.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.